Today on Souls Road 2, we'll talk about how time isn't just something to manage, but it's something to enter. We'll explore how a single moment can change everything, how boredom is often blindness, and how God is present not just in the monumental, but in the minute on Souls Road 2. And welcome to Souls Road 2. This is a podcast that's putting the oxygen back into the Christian life, one soul at a time. And today we're talking about the sacred now. Did you know that moments shape our memories? A poet, Caesar Pavese, once said, "We do not remember days, we remember moments." Reflecting on the past year, you may identify several maybe significant events that have left an impression on your life, while other experiences may fade into memory. And these pivotal moments, whether positive or negative, become central components of your life story. So new beginnings are marked by these moments, and new beginnings are marked not by months or years, but by moments. An abrupt flash where things shifted in an instant. That's how it often happens. These moments provide an opportunity to move past previous experiences, start anew, and improve practices. It's a time to reevaluate past decisions and habits and implement new ones. And maybe you're feeling an unspoken weight of guilt, memories of words spoken, choices made, or responsibilities left untouched. Maybe you're carrying the ache of old wounds or grieving time that slipped through your fingers in a year spent running from the very thing God was calling you to face. It might feel like life rushed past like a bullet train, and now, in the stillness, you're left wondering how to gather the scattered pieces of your life. But even here, grace has a way of meeting you. But more importantly, moments are things that we should encounter in a wakeful state, and we'll talk about that a little later. But I also want to say this about time and about moments, that time cannot be controlled. I've always been fascinated by time travel books, stories, and movies, and time travel has long captivated our imagination. Through books and movies, we're drawn to the idea of controlling the flow of minutes and hours and days, even going back to rewrite the past in hopes of making things right. Sure, we possess the ability to control and manipulate space meaning our physical environment, but time remains impervious to our influence. No technology or method currently exists that enables us to exert control over time. But time is more than something to be controlled, isn't it? Another thing about time is this that I want to mention today is time is a gift. This is so important to understand that. Albert Einstein offered a plain and practical reason for the existence of time when he said, the only reason for time is so that everything else doesn't happen at once. But time is much more than a utility for things to happen efficiently. So not only can we not control it, but it doesn't exist just for us to fix things and for it to serve us. Time is a gift given to us so that we can experience the full breadth of life in all of its shapes and forms. What happens when you open all of your senses to what is around you? Not only your five senses, but your spiritual sense, your spirit, your soul, that faculty that comes from God, that goes beyond where science can take you. You begin to realize that these moments are more than the cold, relentless ticking of a metronome that you slavishly struggled to keep rhythm with. It becomes clear that nothing is random, nothing mundane. Every moment hums with quiet meaning, carrying with it the seed of something real and alive. Each breath of time is a gift, one we can either notice or neglect, receive with wonder or overlook, steward with care or let slip through our hands. But another thing about time that I want to mention and about moments is that everything can turn on a moment. That is so important to realize this. So many places in the Bible, you can see stories where things shifted. Rabbi Judah, the patriarch, once said, "There are those who gain eternity in a lifetime, others who gain it in one brief hour." For the blind man that Jesus healed, everything changed in an instant in Luke 18:43, where it says, immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus, praising God. One sacred moment turned his life around from darkness to devotion, from begging to beholding. So what do we do with time? Embrace the moments fully. That is so important that you get this today. When I have traveled abroad, for some reason, that is a time where I most appreciate the moments that I spend, especially with my wife. The way she walks into a room, the things she laughs at that I'll never understand, and that little stray curl that kind of lays over her temple. Why do I have to be thousands of miles away sometimes for me to notice these little details? Here's my theory. Because it is in our nature to tick off the seconds and the minutes and the hours of time while unaware of the beauty that is in that moment. The psalmist implores God to do something profound about his moments in Psalm 90:12 when he says this. He says, "Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom." There's something we can pray about in those moments of saying, Lord, help me to discern this moment so that I can enjoy it to the fullest and live intentionally to the fullest in this moment. It's not just enough to simply witness a beautiful moment. We are called to enter it fully, to embrace it with every physical sense and every spiritual breath God has placed within us. For each moment is a heavy and holy calling to unite with God, and it's filled with holy possibility, waiting to be received with wonder and intention. In these sacred moments, creature and creator are bound together, companions on the journey through time. Psalm 37:23 puts it this way: "The steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way." The beauty of partnering with God in each moment is this: while we are bound by time, he is not. Abraham Heschel once put it this way: "In the realm of spirit, there is no difference between a second and a century, between an hour and an age." The Apostle Peter echoes this idea when he said, "With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day." 2 Peter 3:8. So some see time as an enemy, something to outrun, outwit, or tightly control to survive. But time, like the sacred dance of the Holy Trinity in the Greek Orthodox tradition, invites us to step into rhythm with life itself, with God himself. When we embrace the moment, we find that God is already there, gently ordering our steps, if we are willing to join him in the dance. This is why we step into new seasons with fresh energy, renewed focus, and heartfelt promises to do better. We sense that these moments are thick with possibility, sacred thresholds, where change feels not only hopeful, but holy in that moment. The last thing I want to say today about time and moments is this: indifference is time's enemy. Our greatest challenge isn't the scarcity of time, it's our neglect of the time that we've been given. We grow bored and divert ourselves or distracted, not because life lacks wonder, but because we've lost the eyes to see it. Beauty still calls to us, and simplicity still whispers, inviting us away from the chaos we've created, back to a moment of attentiveness. Awakened simplicity still whispers, inviting us away from the chaos we've created, back to a more attentive, awakened way of living. It matters profoundly that we do something with our moments, that we never fall into the quiet guilt of doing nothing. Life isn't about being crushed beneath the relentless march of time, but about pouring ourselves fully into each moment with purpose. And as Paul reminds us, the Apostle Paul, he said, "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men." Colossians 3:23. Isn't this what it truly means to be alive? Not merely to toil from sunrise to sunset, but to notice the sunrise and the sunset. Not just to mark the passing of days and months and years, but to step into each moment with your whole heart. To capture time, not with cameras and day planners, but by being fully present, body, soul, and spirit, in that moment, right where you are. So may God open our eyes to the wonder woven into every ordinary moment. May he help us to treat time not as a burden, but as a blessing, waking us up to the beauty around us and teaching us. So if you enjoyed this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share it. Connect with us through our channels as we aim to grow this channel. And thank you so much for listening today and being with us. God bless you and take care.